We have talked before on this channel about the really exciting blending of technologies that acoustic and digital pianos are now experiencing. We've got hybrid digitals, as we like to call them, which are pianos that start as digitals but have acoustic elements added in. But then we also have hybrid acoustics, which are, as you probably guessed, acoustic pianos which have digital elements brought in to increase convenience, increase engagement, increase the range of functionality. And today we're in front of one of those such beasts. Now, you may be familiar with upright pianos that have had things like silent systems added on or even new player systems. But grand pianos is something that's relatively new, and there are very few examples on the marketplace. The one we're in front of right now, which is a Kawai GX-2 Aures, is one of those rare examples. And so at its heart, this is an acoustic piano. Every aspect of this instrument, from the frame, the strings, the action, the hammers, the wood, is exactly the same as you would get if you were to buy this instrument without the digital option, the Aures system. But add the Aures on, and what you essentially do is bring a digital piano inside this instrument with all of the conveniences that come along with that. That's going to include being able to play silently, being able to play with your headphones, obviously. It brings recording functionality to it. You have the really exciting and interesting ability to now blend acoustic and digital sounds together. And maybe the thing that is, to me, the most interesting of all, which is the ability to use a giant premium piece of spruce and turn it into a audiophile level speaker in the middle of your house. There are, as far as I can tell, 8 modes in which you can enjoy this instrument. And we're going to go right from top to bottom, give you a quick review of every one of those experiences, and finish off with a specs review. But before we get started with any of that, here's how the Aures system works, how this digital piano was kind of wrapped inside a normal acoustic grand piano. So like all grands, it starts with the action. We've got 88 notes, and in this case, because we're talking about a GX2, this is the Millennium 3 Ninja Action. But there are optical sensors underneath the keys with no physical contact whatsoever that's going to interpret that movement and send all of that key and velocity information to the tone generator. And if we take this off, you can actually get a little peek of some of that circuitry and wiring that's connecting those optical sensors to the tone generator right over there. Now, for people who are maybe concerned about whether this adds complexity to maintaining their instrument or whether a tuner is going to be able to access it, I think Kawai does a really nice job of laying out very specific instructions right here on the action on how to carefully detach a couple of those wiring harnesses. It can be done in about a minute or two. And so even technicians that have never experienced this system before are going to be able to interact with the mechanism, the hammers, and obviously the tuning without any issue at all. Now, after that data is collected and it's sent to the tone generator, which is attached up and underneath the instrument, that tone generator is now going to send audio signal to 2 different places. It's going to send it to the headphone jack, where you could listen to this completely silently, or it is sending it to a series of transducers. Now, transducers are really just normal speakers, but instead of the cone, they're attached to another diaphragm. And in this case, that diaphragm is the soundboard. The actual piano's own spruce soundboard has been turned into a speaker. Now, the tone engine we mentioned is capable of more than just producing a digital piano sound. In this particular case, the GX2 has nearly 100 onboard sounds to choose from, and those can also be blended and mixed and matched, just like you were in front of a real digital piano. So now let's get to those 8 modes we were talking about. So mode number 1 is going to seem really obvious, which is playing this just like an acoustic piano. Now, you want to make sure that either the power to the Aures system is off or the volume is set to 0. Either way, that will kill audio either to the headphone jack or the transducer's soundboard. And so you've got basically just a normal GX2. The second mode is completely not acoustic, which is to play this as a full digital piano, terminating the acoustic sound entirely. And to do that, we're going to stop the hammers from hitting the strings. That's going to kill the acoustic sound generation. And so there's a nice little lever right on the right side with a pull. That's now going to stop the hammers from hitting the strings. And we're going to be now generating sound entirely through the tone generator and the soundboard speaker system. Now, people who are already familiar with some of Kawai's higher-end digital pianos will recognize that the app that we use to control the Aures is actually exactly the same user interface and system that they embed in the CA series, the higher-end CA series, and their Novus. So it's a very familiar interface. And in this particular case, it's very easy to call up our SKEX rendering engine, select some of the settings here, and then we've got a digital piano sound. So that's entirely a digital sound coming through the soundboard. But the real fun here is not to replicate an acoustic piano tone. It's really to get into non-acoustic piano tones because we've already got our acoustic piano sitting right in front of us. So let's have this now become a Rhodes. Or even a string. Now, that brings us to the third mode, which is playing an acoustic piano blended with a digital sound. And to get that, all we do is re-engage the hammers. Let's say we keep the string on, and here we go. The fourth mode is going to come up, well, when you need sound management. And I would say that's one of the big reasons why a customer might be interested in this type of product in the first place. Let's say that there are several times through the day or the week where you know you could play an acoustic piano and either not disturb a neighbor or not disturb a family member. But then there are other times where you really would love to be in front of a great instrument and you just can't play freely. You need to have something to manage that tone. Well, this is where turning the hammers off and getting headphones in now completely transforms this into a totally silent digital piano experience. And this is where now GX2 essentially becomes the same thing as playing like a CA701 with headphones on. Now, the second set of playing experiences or modes to me is when we add the Bluetooth speaker functionality into this. And yes, you can take a line input if you really wanted to, But why are we adding cables if we don't have to? This is equipped with a really nice, stable, high-fidelity Bluetooth connection. I need to emphasize that the Bluetooth audio connection is separately managed from the Bluetooth connection that controls the piano itself. Just because you're connected to the Kawai remote control app doesn't mean Bluetooth audio just automatically starts. You do have to manage those two connections separately. But here's what happens when you turn your piano into a speaker. So here's a Lang Lang playing Piano Concerto No. 2 by Rachmaninoff. And you really get a great sense of the tonal variety as that soundboard starts to come alive. Talk about an interesting way to get sort of an entertainment focus into a room, or just an interesting new way to listen to music. Now, this isn't an isolated feature because you can also play along with this. So now listen to, let's say we pull up a nice accompanying track, and I guess this is a bit of a plug, even though we don't have any relationship with this software company whatsoever, but iReal Pro is kind of a really cool app that the jazz world uses a lot. But for anybody who just wants a really nice on-the-spot accompaniment to play along with all kinds of songs, it's really great for that. So we take a look at something like A Cantaloupe Island. Now, we don't just have the ability to play the acoustic sound, we can now kick back over to our app. So we're going to bring the Bluetooth volume down a little bit. We're going to bring up that internal sound, and here we go. So that's an additional way or additional combination that you can really extract that. And then the final thing that I'm going to really highlight to people is the fact that you've got a nice, very easy recording module on here. And you can use this both, at least in your mind, in acoustic mode or in digital mode. And this is, again, just super easy to use the way they've set this up. So we're going to record this. And that's now ready to share. It's ready to save, delete, overdub, or just play it back if you are doing some practicing, for example. But you can also do that in acoustic piano mode. So let's turn this back. Now, one of the coolest parts about the Aures project when it comes to Kawai is the specs that they have put into the digital componentry here. They've got close to 100 voices in these instruments that you can choose from. It's also got 256 notes worth of polyphony, but it's got the full SKEX rendering engine in there as well. And I can't overemphasize how big a deal this is, because basically what you're doing is you're getting a world-class acoustic piano with pretty much the top digital technology that money can buy inside a digital piano these days. So when you are not playing in acoustic piano mode and you're just in that headphone mode we were talking about, you've got a good set of headphones on, you are experiencing pretty well the best money can buy from a digital piano standpoint as well. And I think that's critical, because more and more people who look at these products aren't using this 95% in acoustic mode and 5% in digital mode. It's getting close to like a 50-50 split, or a 2/3, 1/3 split. I can tell you that if this were in my house, I would be using this at least 50% in digital mode, just because of the need to manage the sound so much of the day. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out today's video. Hope you've found this category interesting, this whole world of acoustic hybrid pianos and this constantly overlapping world between new technologies and old traditions. We certainly love following this trend here at the store. My name is Stu Harrison. If you have enjoyed what we've had to share today, we would really love you to hit that subscribe button and become part of our regular viewers. Take care, we'll see you again soon, and thanks for watching.